We know Chelsea have been actively trying to sell Conor Gallagher for many, many years now. 10 days, 10 whole days since I last did a transfer video. Wrong. How wrong am I? Foul behaviour, because there's always something going on in Chelsea. In fact, a whole goalkeeper has been acquired, has been attained, and there's a lot to discuss today, and I've got to give opinions on big news that is going on in the Chelsea world. So let's get straight into it. I want to start with Gallagher. We all saw the briefs. We all saw the journalists flock to Twitter all at once, all in one big go to release the same report. Ben Jacobs, Ornstein, Fabrizio, Nizar Kinsella, and probably many more, all dropping this Gallagher contract rejection at the same time. Now, what does that tell me? That tells me that they were all fed the information by the club. It's not like one of them got a scoop. It's not like one of them got some inside information. It was a briefing. It was something that was released by the club to all of the big, well-known journalists to release at the same time, because they were all itching to release, right? So it's basically one text message being sent out and everybody is like, whoa, we need to move ASAP and get this out. So why would Chelsea do that, right? Regardless of whether it's true or not, we'll get to that point. But why would Chelsea do that? Well, we know Chelsea have been actively trying to sell Conor Gallagher for many, many years now, whether it was Everton, Aston Villa, Tottenham monitoring, and also now Atletico Madrid. Newcastle have also been a club that have been mentioned previously. Long story short, Chelsea want him out. They want that pure profit. They don't see him as the player to, keep around long term. And that's not a big issue for me personally, purely because you know me, you know my thoughts. That's a squad player. That's a player that can come on with 10 minutes to go if we're leading a game. But in a possession-based system, I'm not building around him. I think there's much more technically gifted players in those half spaces, the Nkukus, the Palmers, the Chukwuemekas, to play those games, especially against those low blocks. So I've got no dog in this fight in terms of you ain't going to get any bias from me in regards to Gallagher. However, when I smell nonsense, I have to say something. And there's no way, in my humble opinion, that Conor Gallagher wants to leave Chelsea. And that's the narrative that's starting to, be created, because if you want to sell an asset and the Chelsea faithful disagree, how do you solve that situation? You turn the Chelsea faithful against said asset, make him look like the bad guy, make it look like you tried your very best to keep him, that you wanted to renew him, and he rejected. He took it on his own accord to go. And then you can wash your hands and say, well, we did all we could. But like I said, I smell BS, so I'm going to call it. Now, Gallagher is Chelsea through and through. He doesn't want to leave, right? He has wanted to stay at Chelsea the whole time they've been trying to ship him out. Now, that 2 + 1 year contract, what does that really mean? Because if he was to sign this contract, Chelsea would just buy more time to sell him. Yeah, they would just be simply extending the contract to give themselves more time to find a buyer. It wouldn't change the fact that they want him to go. It wouldn't give him more, importance in their squad building. From a Gallagher perspective, you have to consider the situation that he's walking into at the back end of the year. And I've always said it, he holds the cards, he holds the chips. Atletico Madrid is a great club for him. I personally think it's a fantastic fit. If he's going to go anywhere, this is as good as it gets, because you're going to a manager that is going to get the best out of you in Diego Simeone. The style of football suits you, the Champions League football. Just a big, big club in Atletico Madrid. It's a very, very good move in my opinion. However, I've always said, if he wants to dig his heels in, if he wants to hold all of the cards, he does. He literally does. He can sit there and say, I'm rejecting Atletico. I'm rejecting the new contract. And I'm going to wait until December the 31st until you guys give me a real contract. Because we all know a 2 + 1 is not what Chelsea typically give out to players that they want to keep. It's 5-year contracts. It's 6, 7, 8-year contracts, right? So they don't want to keep him. And I'm just trying to make that clear, because I don't want it to get misconstrued. I don't want it to be confusing. Chelsea do not want to keep Gallagher, and Gallagher did not want to leave, even though it would seem the complete opposite right now, right? They are offering him a deal purely theoretically because they're trying to look like they're trying to keep him. Now, with Gallagher and his, wage demands, I don't believe that he was going to be one of the highest paid players at the club. I don't see why you would do that if you're Chelsea Football Club trying to sell him. Ask yourself this. First of all, why would Chelsea make Gallagher one of their highest paid players at the club if they want him to leave? If you make him one of the highest paid players at the club, you price him out of moves that you're trying to make for him, right? You're trying to, first of all, shrink your wage bill, and you're trying to get him to go to other clubs. So why would you then give him a high wage and price him out of clubs coming in? Make him, earn a level of money that he won't be able to replicate elsewhere. Why would you do that? Doesn't make sense. But again, it creates a narrative that he might be greedy or we tried our best. It creates a narrative. So it's a lot of PR. It's a lot of games being played. And thankfully, we know the rules of these games. We've seen this before. It's not the first time we've seen a player leave Chelsea on their own accord, right? So, yeah, you let me know in the comments down below how you feel about the situation. I just wanted to kind of clear his name a little bit because I feel like there are people that are taking this as an opportunity to slam dunk and say, see, should never have given him the banner. See, he never really loved Chelsea because they don't want him to stay. So it's an opportunity now for them to take advantage of. I am not going to do that because I don't believe it. I think it's nonsense. So, yeah. But let's get into also Osimhen, right? Because Osimhen, this is a very interesting situation. You know my stance. The whole time we've been linked with Osimhen, whether it's John Obi Mikel on his podcast, whether it's Didier Drogba at AFCON, whether it's, anybody and everybody talking about Osimhen. I have never believed that he's coming. One, because the fee is incredibly high. Two, because we didn't make high upper echelons level of European football. And obviously competition like PSG can offer that. And the other reason is because of those wages. Now, Osimhen and his agent have kind of made it clear that they're not going to be involved in any sort of quick, loan deal where there's an option, but it's not an obligation because they don't want to go back to Napoli next summer. Lukaku to Napoli is, in my opinion, as good as done in terms of he wants to go. Napoli want him. Conte wants him. Personal terms. Like, everything is sorted. And the fee, I think Chelsea would start to understand they might have to bite the bullet and kind of take what Napoli can give them, because where else is he going to go? But in regards to Osimhen, I'm still not that confident because those wage demands, he's on a lot of money already. He's already pushing the boat in terms of our wage structure. He's going to want 200 plus K. We don't offer that anymore these days. So something's got to budge. Either he's going to have to drop his wage demands significantly and actually make less money than he's making at Napoli, or we're going to have to blow our wage structure out the water, which we've not shown to do. And when you look at Guy performing really well in pre-season, Jackson had a solid debut season in Cuckoo. The manager's spoken about him potentially playing at the 9 position. We actually have, from a numerical standpoint, we have enough forwards potentially in the eyes of Maresca or in the eyes of Chelsea, the board, and they may decide we don't actually need to do this deal. The only reason why it's a kind of, we really need to try and get the deal is really because we need to get Lukaku out the door. If Lukaku wasn't so involved, this deal doesn't happen. If Lukaku goes to Saudi, this deal doesn't happen. The only reason why there's a smidge of Chelsea pushing the envelope out is just purely because Lukaku needs to leave. They need to get rid of him, and there's not many buyers, there's not many options. But I still don't have much confidence in the Osimhen deal. I really don't. I still believe that he may just not even move. He may just not even move because the figures and the numbers just don't equate. They don't add up. We'll see. My thoughts in terms of him as a player. He's got some very impressive attributes, his aerial ability, but there are technical deficiencies in his game that would concern me, especially in a possession-based team. Gives us a different option, though. That's one thing you can't deny. If you're looking at our forward options currently, he gives us a completely different profile that we don't have, and maybe allows us to almost like a Hairline in a Pep system, right? I know Maresca doesn't want to be compared or even related to Pep in regards to the way he wants to play, but Hairline is not necessarily a Pep player. He's not necessarily a tiki-taka. He's not at all. that type of player, but he gives them something different. He gives them something in behind, give them some pace, some power, gives them, an outlet. That's what Osimhen could potentially do for this team. I don't think he's anywhere near as good at finishing as Hairline. He's nowhere near as clinical, and his numbers show that over the years with his goal output. But like I said, if it gets Lukaku out of my club, I'll entertain it. I'll entertain it. You know me, like I said, I'm not really keen on the fee for Osimhen. I'm not really, blowing that trumpet. However, if it gets Lukaku out of my club, at this point, I'd rather have somebody committed, motivated, ready to, play for us and wants to play for us and wants to give it their all and bring their attributes to the table, and we have to kind of, manage that situation, then keep this brother here, Lukaku, who just has disgraced our club multiple times. So, yeah, that's what we're playing with right now. But like I said, I'm not confident in that one. You let me know in the comments if you think that's going to materialise. It can't be a dry loan, guys. It has to be an obligation as it stands, which means Chelsea need to agree with Napoli a fee that they're happy with, which is probably going to be in the region of 55 to 60 million plus Lukaku, which kind of takes the overall package of the deal to 95 million, depending on how you value Lukaku. I think you have to kind of give him still a minimum valuation of about 30 million, just purely because he does get goals, especially in Serie A. He's got a track record. Maybe 25 if you're pushing it, but any less than that, and it's getting a bit disrespectful, even for me. So we'll see. But like I said, those wages are there. We also are still looking at, a few other young proteges, a Belgian goalkeeper here, a Brazilian young left winger there. But these things are not really any further along at this current stage. It's just more negotiations, more fees that need to be agreed, and clubs still a little bit apart on those figures. So I'm sure we'll get updates on those. They'll probably both get closed for Gabriel Merck, and they'll probably get closed, those deals, and I'm sure I'll be able to tell you that we've signed those two players. That won't really be part of the first team, in my opinion. I'm pretty sure they'll probably take loan spots. Maybe one, 16-year-old will be staying in Brazil and coming in 2025. I don't know, but we'll see how that materializes. Outside of that, guys, those are the two main headlines. Those are the main stories. We're still waiting on exits for Amando Broja, loan deals for Datro Fofana, Washington, Kellyman, who is in rehabilitation right now, Chilwell, where's he going to go? Is he going to go? Because, from a systematic standpoint, he doesn't really fit in with what Maresca's trying to do. Gusto was incredible on that left-back inverted role, playing in centre mid, having a fantastic bit of link-up 1-2s consecutively, making his way from left-back to right wing to, create chances in the last pre-season game. You've got Cucurella to come back, who, plays that role. And, of course, Renato Viega is also another option. So you've just got enough players over there. Chilwell is another one that needs to be looked at. But like I said, there's actually got to be buyers. There's actually got to be interest. Chalobah is another one. I haven't even really deeped it, but Disasi's, I don't know what's going to happen there. So we'll see. A lot to get into. I'm sure it's going to be a busy end to the window. You guys make sure you smash up the likes. You guys make sure you subscribe. And you let me know in the comments down below. Will we be getting Osimhen? And is Gallagher, is he actually going to Atletico? Or is he going to dig his heels in and just stay? And just wait? We'll see. Smash up the likes. Make sure you subscribe. In a bit, people. Peace. This is fine. I'm okay with the events unfolding currently. It's okay. Everything's gonna be okay.